Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for yet another episode of Powerful on Purpose podcast, where we talk to powerful women who are sharing their stories to move their missions and change the world. And I'm excited to introduce you to our guest today. It is Jennifer Marsh, and she is the clarity coach and founder of Women of Substance Ministries. And I know that's kind of a juicy title, so we're going to get into that and have her share what she's doing and why she's doing it. So, welcome, Jennifer.
Hi, so glad to be here. Thank you so much for asking.
Absolutely. Glad you could join us. And I always love to start with this cuz I'm curious, right? What is the story behind what you're doing? And tell us what Women of Substance Ministries also means.
Well, Women of Substance Ministries, years ago, when I was back in Bible college in like 2000, so about 20 some years ago, I was just really seeking God and wondering, what is my actual purpose? And he told me if I was at Pastor Rod Parsley's church, that was my pastor at the time, and we're in Columbus, Ohio, very large mega church at the time, was the largest in Ohio. And I was going to Bible college there, and I heard God say to me, if I put you on a platform, what would be your substance? What would you give out to the women that I would allow to be in your presence or allow you to minister to? So, what is your substance? And that is the basis of, how Women of Substance got birthed out of that question from God, just asking me, what do I have inside of me that I'm going to pour out to women? Would it be some things that are corrupt or, vanity or whatever? Or would it actually have substance like, faith, love, that sort of thing? What is the actual foundations of who you are? That's the reason why everything you hear me talk about is about identity and, understanding who you are and what your purpose is, what's inside of you. So that's a high level of that, Leslie.
Awesome. I love that because I think that's a burning question for women, right? This issue or topic of substance. And am I moving the world enough? Right? I think we so many times have bigger missions that maybe we don't recognize or like get shoved aside because we're raising families, doing all the things like that we're supposed to do. So I love that you're bringing that to the forefront. So, what is your special substance that you bring to the world?
What I like and what I do pride myself on bringing is definitely a mix of, business and spirituality. That sort of growth that can take you to the next place in your life. I mean, I'm living proof that, you don't have to sacrifice your integrity or your faith or, your peace to create some success. You know what I mean? A lot of times, especially as women, we do sacrifice, things personally, when it comes to relationships and things like that. We kind of sometimes dumb ourselves down. And so, when I'm teaching about clarity and brand identity, I'm talking about who you are because your brand, you are your brand. So if you, I mean, people need to understand and be clear about what it is that you're speaking to. You know what I mean? So when I see a lot of, coaches and leaders and things like that, I help hundreds of leaders, and entrepreneurs, to identify exactly what it is that they're trying to say. What is your message? And essentially, you know what I mean? So I believe that creating, personalized strategies, can take you to that place and springboard you to success.
Absolutely. You're preaching. Yep, I'm totally in line with you there, right? Um yeah, and I think and it's not like not saying this in a bad way, but that we get kind of hung up in following a guru, right? And then at some point you're like, okay, one, this doesn't work for me, and two, like it sort of feels icky. Like it's not me, right? So really helping uh providing an alternative path of really tapping into
Mhm.
you and
Absolutely.
what can you can create.
Right. I think we have enough copycats, right? And it's okay to, have a mentor or someone to, look up to that kind of help give you a blueprint that, okay, success is possible. But what
Right.
I want you to do is look at you. And I know sometimes that's a hard thing. That's the reason why a lot of times I do in my coaching style use different things to help people tap into their unconscious minds, things that may help them get from a limited belief to, actually believing and not living at effect, but also living by cause, meaning, reframing your thought pattern. And so that can help you identify. And I know a lot of times when we get to talking about identity, it becomes a scary thing because I might not like myself necessarily.
Mm,
I might not like who I am. So that's why it's important, especially for those of us that are in the coaching space to, understand the person's, construct, their home of origin and things like that. So that way we can get them to the place of success and ultimately live at cause.
absolutely. Um, Yeah, and I'm sure you faced this before, right? Recently, I was on a platform and I didn't like what was happening and going on, and it was really a value struggle for me. As it turned out, universe took care of it for me, right? Got me banned off the platform. Hallelujah.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I know it was clearly very drastic. She said, "All right, we're just taking this care of you." But it also made me think about that's such an integral part of who I am that when I ignore that, it then creates that inner struggle. And I think a little bit what you're talking to, right? That identity. Okay, am I living as this person that I want to be?
And sometimes it seems like it's so far away and it seems like you're just not going to ever get there. But I promise you, anybody that's listening, I promise you, I'm a witness. I promise you, you can get there because I was a single mom raising a child in the projects, with a couch that didn't have any legs on the bottom of it. Okay. It was sitting on the floor and my
Right.
rent was $25 a month and I didn't know when I was going to have any food. Okay. So listen to me when I tell you that, discovering yourself and believing in you and living not at effect, meaning it's not anybody else's fault. It may not even be your fault. But what can I do to change this? How can I take this and change it into an opportunity that's going to bring success for me? And that success can look like more than just money. It could look like peace. It could look like open doors and opportunities because now your brain has reframed itself. But if you're always looking for something negative, I understood from taking grief recovery and getting that certification that we have to take 1% of responsibility for whatever that is that may be causing us to live, in a negative space. And it isn't that you're taking responsibility for what happened to you. It's that you're not going to allow it to hold you prisoner. And now you're going to live at cause and say, hey, I can do this and I choose to. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. And I love that responsibility because ultimately it's us just stepping up and saying, I'm responsible for all of this, not necessarily well, in some ways my choice, right? But not necessarily all um but the responsibility to change it, I think, is what I'm trying to say in all this wordiness is what really we need to step up to.
yeah, and I just really feel for those individuals because I remember feeling helpless. I remember feeling hopeless. I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I will never see $10,000 come through my bank account. You know what I mean? That's not true. And
Right.
I want you guys to understand that it's not true. You can live at cause and you can be prosperous. You can take yourself exactly where you want to be, but you have to allow yourself to get the tools. You need to invest in yourself. And that's the reason why I do like giving out things like that because I want to spark that enthusiasm in somebody. And I try to put out there, Leslie, as much as I possibly can, hope and inspiration. But I do have to make people pay attention to the fact that you have to take some steps yourself. It's not going
Oh,
to just fall down there. I remember
right,
praying, oh, please, God, let me make 14 bucks an hour when I was going to
right,
go work at Dillard's and work at the Chanel counter because, I'm also a cosmetologist, by trade as well. And so I'm like, I'm just going to do some makeup. Somebody please just let me make 14 bucks.
right. And I
Yeah.
think, and I'm sure you provide this as well, it's important to hang around other people who have that same mindset, right? Who are saying, okay, yep, there's something better. I can do it. And I have people supporting me. It's not like I'm alone.
Hmm. Absolutely. We have a cloud of witnesses, the Bible says, of people who overcome. And so what you just said was very powerful, Leslie, when you said, if I'm around people that's doing it, it's going to inspire me. It's called proximity.
Right.
Proximity is power. Okay. You get in the right room with the right people, and then they begin to connect you and they connect you with their connections. And next thing you know, you're in a room and you're like, well, how did I get here? And now you have that power too, because then you can connect people. And that's one thing that I love doing and love making divine connections with individuals who need a connection. So I'm always calling in the masses saying, come over here so I can help you.
Right. Come join us because, yeah, together we know all the tides rise together, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So um, what, if any, shift have you seen happening within the coaching space online that you're needing to make adjustments to or
Well, you know what? First of all, this is the thing, Leslie. I've been doing this for more than 20 years, and a lot of us have came out after the pandemic. A lot of people started, getting into the coaching space, and wonderful. There's room enough for everybody. But what I'm seeing is, that's the reason why I kind of shifted to help individuals with branding. Because I also am an instructional designer. So I'm like, I gotta help people because I'm looking at your storefront is your business. Okay. So if I come on your page and it doesn't look like you know what you're talking about, it's going to be a problem. So I'm seeing a lot of individuals who really are trying to make an effort and make a go of it, but just lacking a little bit of guidance. So, while it's really out here and they're booming and they're looking great and they have great thoughts or great avatars or ICPs, those intended client profiles, but they just need a little bit more help, a little bit more nudging out here. But I do think, that it's a very successful industry in the sense of, there's so many people out here that need help, new moms, people who, have gone through postpartum depression, individuals that are struggling in their marriages and relationships. So right now, a coach is definitely needed to help people get strengthened out here.
right? And I truly believe um that if the world's going to change, women, we need to step up and have a little more say, right? Have a little more um leadership and really like some of the things that have happened. In fact, a gal at a college football game and I were sitting next to each other and got on this same topic of um you know, things that wouldn't have happened if women had been in charge because we are the caregivers, the nurturers, the like creating peace, all those things. So, yeah, I love what you're doing is really, I think, and women, we thrive in communities when we find the right ones.
Sparking something inside of me when you were just talking because guess what, everybody? God, you women out here, especially moms and just women in general, because we have that innate ability to nurture and to lead. God made us coaches right out of the womb when we came out because guess what? We have to raise children, we have to nurture families and relationships, and we kind of guide individuals on the path to success. Especially any of you out there who are raising children. Like I only have one, but that was enough for me. I have, six other kids in love, so I understand what the big house looks like. But for those women who are single moms and everything, doing it on your own, I say kudos and bravo to you. But God has given you guys those innate abilities to nurture, to coach, to bring somebody up to make another human being successful. That's a coach right there. You made when your child has grown up and went out in the world and got a job and went to college or whatever this case may be, became a star baseball player or soccer player or whoever. You coached them to become that. You were at every game, you were at every PTA meeting, you know what I mean? Think about Tiger Woods, how his family, his father, and look at, Venus and Serena.
For
It
sure.
started with their parents, getting them in that. You are getting my niece right now is raising her son to become an athlete like his father is. She's more hands-on than the father, you know what I mean? So you guys have it
Sure.
in you. You got it. You got it. And you're successful already. You just need somebody to help you along the way and push you. Just like you're pushing them kids. That's what Leslie and I are here to do. We're going to push you.
That's right. And I love that analogy. Not only pushing, but supporting too. And being
Absolutely.
right. Like, okay, let's come back to reality. But because I'm totally with you. I think we all know enough. And I think we each have something super special to share with the world. But sometimes we're so in ourselves that we can't see that specialness, right? And that's where exactly what you say a coach can do, especially a great coach. And I can tell you're a great coach. Just
Thank
saying.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Seen a few of my day, people. But really, yeah, you're right. Empowering women that we do raise the kids and we are like coaches in that sense. Honestly, if you raise a decent human being, you're a coach. You know all the stuff.
Absolutely. I know my parents coached me all the way along the way, even though I didn't want to hear it half of the time. And that's what happens a lot of times. It's hard to hear, isn't it? Like you're like, oh no, not again. I used to hate it when my mom would call. Now I wish she could call. But like I would see, I'm like, oh, how she know? She always would know when something was wrong or when I would need a little bit of a nudge or somebody to help me along the way. She would always know what to say. And so, you guys got it. You have this. Remember that, confusion isn't your call, but clarity is. So if you're confused, if you're feeling overwhelmed, then you need to seek that help or that special somebody that you fit with. And so therefore you can, get successful and move forward. And that's the reason why, Leslie, a lot of times you'll see me put on, a challenge for, 3 to 5 days. Because why? I'm trying to discover and trying to help you discover if I am the fit for you.
Sure.
Okay. In those 3 to 5 days, you can find out how I coach, how if I can successfully help you get through. And so I don't always necessarily ask people to come directly into my programs. Yes, you can go to my website, substanceministries.com and look to see what I'm about. But you need to connect with me, the person not on the page, off the page, talk to me, come in, have a Pathfinder call with me, and find out where you're trying to get to, and let me see if I can help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that brings us I know you have a free gift for listeners and we always put the link below. What is your free gift? And where can
It
people
is
find you?
You know what? They can find me on all social medias at Jen the Clarity Coach. And then of course, I'm on LinkedIn as well as Jen the Clarity Coach, www.linkedin, Clarity Coach. You can always find me there. And of course, I'm always connecting with individuals on Facebook. And that's just Jennifer Marsh. I think it's 1042. But you can find me, anywhere you look up. And again, at substanceministries.com, you can go straight there to my page. And I do have what I love sharing, which is my identity based work, which is the free guide that I talked about here. And it is so powerful to help, especially those who are coaching or those who are trying to build their brand or individuals that are trying to, like start, they're an entrepreneur and they want to, start off their business. So I kind of give those, high level tips there. And then, obviously I have other products, but this
Sure.
I really cherish because it's really that free guide that helps you get there. You know what I mean? Get those foundational principles going so that you will know how to start off. And so what's inside of it? What is inside? It was 10 pages and it has like my look framework. It tells you about, aligning your content. It talks about, how to start a 7-day clarity call to yourself. It helps you have that self introspection, which always is what I'm talking about. Okay. But it
Mm,
also has 10 plug and play content prompts. So to
mm,
help you get started, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we're just looking at a blank cursor and like, I don't know what to write. And of course, now we have Chat GPT that helps. But sometimes what's inside of you, the Chat GPT can't tell you. You have to begin to, write those things out. And what did the Bible say? Write the vision, make it plain, and so that he that reads it can run with it. And when I'm talking about, and what the Bible's talking about, he that reads it is talking about you. You reading your own desire and your plan that you write down that can help you get started. So I use this. It's just a high level for individuals that want to get clear on who they are, how they're achieving, who they're serving, who is your niche, who do you want to help, what is your mission. So that's what that is called. It is called Identity Shapes Strategy. So
I love it.
identity, your brand, is going to shape your strategy because once you know exactly who you are and who you help, you're going to be able to be successful. Okay. So like
Absolutely.
I
Yep.
help, leaders, or I help actual coaches and consultants, business people, brand, so that they can dominate. That's what I do. So what is it that you do? Okay. I'm sorry,
Absolutely. I
Leslie,
love it.
I'm a walker, right?
I would have never guessed. No. No, that's awesome. And I think what a great way to start because like I think I say it almost every episode, but the entrepreneurial journey is the best personal growth program on the planet, right? Like
Oh, true.
you and the faster you can get to that, understand that, embrace it, the further and faster you'll go. Yeah. So, is there any last piece of advice you would like to give someone who's maybe listening to this episode?
Well, yeah, just first of all, let me just start off by encouraging you and saying good job for even trying to get started. One of the things that my pastor always says, is that, you never know until you go. You have to get started. Okay. Don't wait until you have everything set up because you will never start. There is so many things. And I'm going to tell you, when I started out, especially trying to go into social media, it was so overwhelming. I had nobody to ask. And so that's why I do what I do. I don't want anybody else to have to feel around in the dark, sign up and subscribe for a million things. And next thing you know, you are paying out of your pocket for so much stuff that you can't even actually afford. It's not necessary, everybody. My advice to you is to get with someone that knows the blueprints already that can help you. Okay. Make sure you align yourself with somebody and be careful out here because there is a lot of things that go on, unfortunately, that are negative. So you have to have a good discernment of what you're wanting to do. That's the reason why I say, and I really, really do want you guys to get that free identity shape strategy because when you find out who you want to help, so do that first. You got to know who you got to help because if you don't know who you want, because you know what, one thing I will say about this also, Leslie, is that when you are a person that is multifaceted and you are able to do a lot of things, I really believe the scripture when it says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I really believe that, and I'm very much talented in every area. But guess what, everybody, I can't do everything at once. And a lot of times people who are coaches or startups want to do everything. Get
Mm,
one focus and stick with that and build that, and then you can branch into other ideas. But start with one thing, the one thing that's you're very, 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 very passionate about, and go from there. That's your springboard. So if I can give you any advice, pick your niche, who you help, in other words, and go from there. So get that free guide and it's going to help you. Make sure you reach out to us if you have questions. I'm more than willing to answer them.
Boom. That was a gold nugget, right? Because I think, yeah, many of us entrepreneurs are super creative and have a gazillion ideas. And you just nailed it, right? Pick the one, go for it, and then you can always add others on. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better, folks. There you go. Jennifer, you are a delight and a blessing. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Get it. Thank you so much for inviting me. This is wonderful. I love talking to with people and for people and trying to help. So I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity to share. So thank you, Leslie, and I pray that you have continued success.
Absolutely. And the same to you. And be sure and subscribe, everybody, because you don't want to miss conversations with powerful women like Jennifer that are using their story, their passion to change the world.
Thank you.